It's
Hello, hello.
time. We really should coordinate that. Good.
Decide
See,
who's going to
people,
talk first.
yeah, yeah. This is how you know this is a totally real life, real podcast. Just a few little shiny spots, but we're great. This is so good.
Well, and I've been told that like people like real more. Like when you get
Ah,
too polished, people
well,
don't like it.
well,
I don't
let
know
me
if that's
tell
true or
you.
not, but I'm all about it.
Well, the good thing is, like, no matter how hard I try and be polished, I can only be real. That's good.
I mean, I'm a recovering perfectionist, and so like being okay with all of this is perfect for me.
I get it. I have been in a lot of same ways. And for some things it serves me, professionally. And others, sometimes I'm just like, okay, yeah, we're done with that. I just don't have the bandwidth anymore. So anyway, how's
Exactly.
your cacao life going? We haven't talked about that in a while.
We haven't talked about it in a while, and I just have to share with you and the audience. So back in November, I went home for Thanksgiving, and I don't remember if it was a month ago or 2 months ago. I talk to my dad most weekends, and he's telling me, after you left after Thanksgiving, like all of these ads kept popping up on my Facebook telling me about cacao. And so he was like, I was researching all the health benefits of cacao. And so I decided to, try it. So he's been drinking cacao now for a couple months. And this weekend we were talking, and he's telling me, well, first of all, he's telling me about how much better he feels. He has more energy. He says his brain fog is gone.
Wow.
And like he is loving it. But the thing that blew my mind was the only thing he adds to his cacao is cinnamon.
Wow.
He doesn't sweeten
Wow.
it anymore. He's like,
Wow.
yeah, first I needed that, but now that I'm used to it, and he was always a black coffee drinker. Like he didn't add sugar to any kind of sweetener to his coffee either. But I'm like, he is hardcore, man.
He reminds me of like a Wyatt Earp or something, like a man's man.
He's totally a man's man, like just a rugged 70. I think, what is it? I think he's 77, 78, something like that. He still hunts. He's still,
That's
he's
really,
living his best life. I am so proud of my dad. But
but like
um
that's so good that he's, 70 whatever and trying new things. Like, man, you want to know what
oh
keeps you
yes.
young, right? Is to keep moving and keep trying new things. And how cool. So he doesn't drink coffee anymore?
No, he has, so it's chilly up there in Wisconsin. And he said, like he has one of those, that'll make a single cup. And so he's like, some days I'm out working outside a little bit and I come in and I'm a little chilled and I want something hot to drink. And so he's
Mm.
like, I might make a cup of coffee in the afternoon or something just to warm up. But he's like, I don't crave it at all. And, he's like, the cacao makes me feel so much better than what coffee ever did. And so he's
Absolutely.
hooked. He's hooked.
Absolutely. And those are the things, like, we just gave another one of our how to cacao classes slash workshops. And one of the things that we were talking about was exactly like, it's so great to see the testimonial because we teach it, but until you experience it, you really don't understand the depth of the potential of it. That focus and creativity and energy that lasts so much longer. Now, like, I love I've always loved coffee, like even as a teenager. I mean, I'm Cuban. They give us like
You're
Cuban
Cuban.
coffee shots when you're a child. Like, it's just like, you want to get through third grade, have a shot of Cuban coffee. Like, no big deal. um but to have all of that replaced with a cacao, and not because I felt like I had to, but because I felt like I wanted to. It just, I keep saying with cacao, once you start on that path, it helps you make such other better decisions for you. Cacao lowers your blood pressure. It doesn't overstimulate your nervous system the way coffee does. It doesn't make you jittery. It's just so smooth. I'm surprised it's legal. Like, I'm surprised there's not a cacao tax or something, because it really is just such a little miracle plant medicine. I love
One
it.
thing I want to go out and investigate further, because I swear my dad said he found somewhere that cacao actually increases your stem cell activity, which that from a health standpoint, that's huge. So I need to go investigate that further and find out if that's actually true or not. But everybody listening to us out there, if you're not trying cacao, try cacao. Hi, Talisha, I see you there. And we'll make sure our editors put our link to the cacao that we love, the imbue cacao, just to make it easy for you to find. So,
And don't forget, we have all of our little videos. Like on the website, we have, hey Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
We have on our website, you literally have a video of me in my bathrobe taken at 5:00 in the morning with me making my cacao. So I have shown you all that I possibly can to help you. So, but anyway, speaking of showing the way, let's bring on our guest.
Ooh, I'm pushing the wrong button. Hang on. There we go.
The right one. There you
go. I've only been doing this for like 200 and how many episodes, and I can't figure it out this morning. The cacao hasn't kicked in quite yet. I just finished. Welcome to the show, Jackie.
Hey, thank you. Now I'm ready to try some cacao after this talk.
You gotta try the cacao.
Well, I've tried it before, but I'm still trying to figure out if it's good for a migraine sufferer, because chocolate really activates my migraines, but cacao is a different type of.
It's so much less processed. Right. Like the amount of processing that happens to make that chocolate into a chocolate bar or whatever it is that most people are consuming, like that takes away so much of the benefit of it. So definitely worth a try.
Yes.
Yeah, but we can talk about that. We can talk about the chemical composition of cacao and the things that are contraindicated and things like that. I mean, there are very few things, but yes, when you know what you're triggered by, whatnot. But how have you reacted when you've had it before?
It's so funny. We have some here because my daughter is a yoga instructor, and she, like me, is all into like the health stuff and conscious stuff. So we have a bag here, and I drank it before, and I like the taste, and I don't need to add sweetener to it because I'm a matcha drinker without sweetener.
Hardcore like my dad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I probably like it really sweet, but I try and not to add anything sweet that I don't have to, just because of the sugar and stuff like that. And that just comes from my mom and health reasons and cancer, so I try to be a little bit more cautious on that. So
yeah, that's why we lean more towards maple syrup, and shout out to Vicky, who's hopefully still on. Maple syrup in my house is like holy water. We never run out. We always treat it with love and respect because it's so much kinder than sugar and other sweeteners.
Yes, that's funny. And I am a big agave person. And I was diagnosed, again, because all the stress and everything like that takes a toll everywhere in your body, right? And I was diagnosed with SIBO. And one of the things that you cannot have on SIBO is agave, but you can have maple syrup.
Interesting.
Right? Where the sugar content is higher in the maple syrup than it is in the agave, but it's whatever happens after it lands in your body and goes through this whole fermenting process and all this kind of stuff. But definitely the maple syrup is what I actually ended up switching to because of that. Hi, Talisha.
So before we keep deep diving further, I know. Introduce yourself to our audience, Jackie. Tell them about who you are, what you do, and what keeps you passionate about what you do.
I know I could sit here and talk all day with you guys. So,
right.
So my name is Jackie Nepola, and I go by the title of a mind-body coach. Really, I feel like, you have to kind of pick a title, which I was never one to run by titles when I own my companies and stuff. But in this world, you kind of do. So I'm more of a somatic practitioner as well. And I basically help people heal anxiety, worry, overwhelm through mind-body unity. And those were the three major emotions that I have felt and still do but now it's a way of healing instead of masking. And I could say the passion side of me is just that, is if I know I'm helping somebody, I'm good. And I have always been that way. And I realized I've always been that way. And I wanted to continue my business once I sold my school and went into other things and got demolished by COVID, and realized that I was myself in a hole. So these are the things that really helped me out. I kind of found that like combination now for everything to kind of work together. And as long as I know that it's in my realm of my passion and my purpose, and that is always about helping somebody. And that's really what drives me every single day.
Yeah, that's your mission. That's your
Yes.
life mission.
Yes.
So for our listeners, we're very lucky that Jackie is here with us here in South Florida. And I'm an avid Facebook watcher, and Jackie is an avid Facebook poster. So it's perfect. By the way, I know we're recording, but it is 3:11 today, and the time is 11:11. I'm just saying.
Ooh,
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So, but what I wanted to ask, and you could share with our audience, is what it looks like to work with you. I have seen you do personal one-on-one. I've seen some beach events that seem very, let's say, energetic. Tell us a little bit more.
So I have 3 methods now that I do. So I did start my practice with one-on-ones, but it just got to be, it was so much, that one-on-one really takes a toll, and you only have so many time, so much time during the week. So I do still do one-on-ones, but I'm more selective, with, I really want people to be committed. To me, it's about that commitment. Like if you want to make a change, like I am here to help you make that change. So that to me is extremely important. And so with my methods now is I have my workshop is the thing I live and breathe by, because that is what has healed me to maintain that worry, anxiety, and overwhelm. So I love to start with my workshops, and it's like about a 4 to 5 hour workshop, boutique style. I've always run my business boutique style, even when I had my beauty academy, and it was small. I don't like to be around a lot of people at once. I really am about connecting with them. And especially if you come and take the time and you spend the money on a Sunday, because I do these workshops on a Sunday, I actually invite you in to my condo that we have beautifully right on the beach, very serene atmosphere. I'm a beach bunny, beach girl, grew up on the beach, and I will end up on the beach. And to me, it's really important that you are just as invested in helping you as I am going to help you, because I will give you everything and more. And with that workshop, it's really important that you're not just going to come in this workshop for 4 to 5 hours and the next day, like, okay, now what do I do? I don't feel the same way I did as I did at the workshop, because I used to experience that all the time. And I didn't like that. I didn't like going to these workshops, spending all this money. And then a few days later, I still felt like, sorry, my French, shit. Like I just felt deeper in the hole. I couldn't come out. So I hold my people accountable. Like you were with me I keep you accountable full month. That's everything's included in there. And then I do what's called these YOK-E beach sessions, and that's included too. I just did one yesterday. Keep it small. You come on the beach, and it's a combination of yoga, somatic breathing, and the Feldenkrais method, because I needed to find a combination for myself. Just straight yoga wasn't working. I've been doing yoga since my dad is 83, and he does yoga, meditation, and knock on wood, he's healthy as an ox, right? So I grew up this way. But after, when you start getting older, things weren't aligning with me. So I had to find other resources, and that's what I did. I'm a huge researcher and studier. And when I find it and I feel like it works on me, I'm beta testing on everybody. I'm like everybody I can get a hold of, I'm bringing them in. So then I do that, and that kind of flows with the workshop. And then I actually will then put you in, I have a group, it's called YOK-E Club. And again, YOK-E means mind, body, unity. And it's the YOK-E Club. And then after you have this very in-depth, month with me in the workshop, you come into my club, and we interact this way. And I'm very much, People get text messages on the daily from me. That's part of my system to hold you accountable. You get 2 during the day, and you also could reach out to me because, again, I'm a community-driven person. I live and breathe by it. That's who I am. I like just said, like, you know, I had to come to a point where you have to really figure out what it is, who you are, and what you want to do, right? So I'm a community builder, and I need to have a community around me because I'm an only child. And I always say I have a husband and 2 kids and a dog, but I'm lonely in the fact of I like to have a community to go to and share. Because if I have something to say or I'm studying and I found this amazing, you know, term or whatever, I'm like, I gotta go. Who can I tell? You know, when I had my beauty school, I had all these students and employees, and that was our thing. Monday was meditation Monday, yoga Monday, and that's the day I would come in and do what I'm doing now. Switched it up, and I said, so I'm kind of recreating that portion of my school, just that portion, not anything else, just that. And then to top everything else off, like you said, I do some of these crazy things on the beach. And I do a drum dance. And that is really about coming on this beach with about 13, 15 something drummers. And it's about letting all of these trapped emotions, because that's what I do. I work with that younger self. That is what I specialize in. And as a somatic practitioner, it's all about going in the body, but we also have to have these releases. We, as people, humans, we don't have the capability as like my dog does, right? Who's lying next to me. When she gets a little aggravated, she gets to bark. And animals get to run wild when they're stressed. Where do we get to do that? So that's what I did. I said, you know what? I feel like so many of my clients and everything were these trapped emotions. I'm like, we need to yell. We need to scream. And I'm a former party girl. I'm a former raver back in the day. So it will never go away. And again, it was small, contained unity for me. So doing these drum dances, it's about unity. It's about bringing people together. I only do 30 people. That is it. You know, that, and it's funny because somebody told me the other day, they're like, I don't know. I thought that would have been more for you, that you didn't want that. You know, I go, no, I was actually really comfortable with it. You know, so we do these drum dances and we release right on the beach. So those are the things that I do in my practice working with people.
Super cool. Fun.
Yes, it is fun. And I get to play along.
I love to, so I am the daughter and the granddaughter of 2 hairdressers. And one thing that, like, as an adult, I like 100% can see now, both my mom and my grandmother are passed away, but like they did people's hair, but they were their healers. Like hairdressers are healers too. Like, you know, you think that you're just doing their hair, but it is so much more. So it makes so much sense to me that you've transitioned from, you know, having beauty school to now doing this other healing work, because it's all the same.
You want to know something funny is that I'm not a hairstylist. And when I was a kid, I was the one doing the hair, the makeup on my friends' parents. Nobody said to me, you should go to beauty school. Like, listen, I have wonderful parents. My mom has 2 passed on in 2019. My dad is still here. But back when I was that age, nobody in the school, no counselor, no teacher, not even my parents didn't even notice that, oh, this girl, we probably should have sent her to beauty school, right? They
So
didn't.
you established your own beauty school.
Correct. I
You
said,
showed them.
right? And the funny thing is, I never once stepped foot into a beauty school until they handed me the keys to my own beauty school. Wow. So I came in, yes. So, and I loved every minute of it, like as if it was best. I think that I know why, the reason why I didn't go to school. I found out later on, right, that I was just probably meant to be the leader of the school and be the one to help people, give people jobs, and teach them how to have a career in the beauty industry. And I love that. And that's what I do now as my community, is because I love every minute of it. And I still talk to my graduates to this day. But you're 100% right, Julietta, about being that it's like the coach, the therapist for the clients in the chair. Because it's an immediate, remember too, when you go get your hair done or makeup, it's an immediate change. Not like when we go to the doctor, we're not feeling well. Okay, take this pill, and it takes a while for you to get better or feel better. It's instant gratification when you get your hair done.
They say the woman who cuts her hair is about to change her life, you know?
Isn't it so? And I've witnessed multiple cases like that. I mean, to the point that, me and my students, we would just get overwhelmed and like we would cry about it, because it was like to see somebody their reaction you can't beat that feeling. So yes, I do what I do now because I miss my school. Just that part though, not anything else.
But I think you're so right in that community is so important. And regardless of how you come at it, right, whether you're doing breath work or you're banging a drum or whatever it is, but it's that desire to be around people. I think, even introverts still want community, because I get it. I don't like big, giant groups and crowds and things like that either. But sometimes you just need your people, I remember I was just told this story the other day. So I'm Cuban, and I had been waiting my entire life. I was raised that we were just waiting for the day that Fidel Castro would die. And then somehow like a light switch would flip and our lives would be different. Right. And so, I was much older. I was living here in Fort Lauderdale. I was raised in Miami, but I was, when I grew up, I came here to Fort Lauderdale. And so anyway, Fidel Castro dies like in the middle of the night. It's like 10:30, something like that. I happen to be up watching the news and I'm in my house and I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I say? Who do I talk to? And I wake up my boyfriend and I'm like, honey, Fidel Castro died. And he's like, he could care less. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm Cuban. I open the front door. Like, where are the people? They must be outside. And there was nobody. So all I could do was turn on channel 7 and watch the people in Miami banging pots and pans. But, my gut reaction was, I need my community. Where's my community? How do I share this experience?
Yes.
P.S. Fidel Castro dying did not change my life. But anyway, my grandmother, I guess, is happier in heaven now. So,
Right. Yeah, I get it.
Community matters. Community matters.
It matters, definitely.
So one of our questions that we love asking is about limiting beliefs, because so many of our listeners feel stuck. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're stuck. You're like, I'm pretty happy. I'm doing well. I'm checking all the boxes, right? And then you have to kind of overcome some kind of limiting belief to get to where you are today. So tell us a little bit more about your transition. What did you have to let go of to embrace this type of career? Because God knows they didn't teach us this in high school.
No, they did not. It was weird because it kind of all started for me when I had my school. So it was decades ago. And I realized that more people needed people to talk to, and they didn't really have someone to talk to. So they came to me, and we would laugh and joke around because it'd be like a line outside my door of students. And then sometimes my team when needed, or even clients. And so I started really just sitting and listening. And I was just that person that they just came to. And then we would kind of say like, yeah, your education also comes with a life coach, because I love that part of it so, so much. Now, I didn't go to school for that though. So my limiting belief sometimes was like, well, who am I to give this advice? Like, oh, wait, who am I to help this person? When I'm struggling myself, I was struggling big time when I had my school. I said, yeah, you're sitting across from me telling me that you have this limiting belief. Well, I was just in the bathroom on the floor, hysterical crying and having an anxiety attack, because the stress was up to here. Right. But I always was able to come back around because I looked at it more like these people need me to help them. And then when I felt that I could see them changing their reactions, they're saying stuff differently than how we started, I started realizing, oh gosh, I am good at this. Like I can do this. And I would just take, like, that was my thing. I always felt like because I didn't go to school and I don't have, we used to pretend, I go, this is my therapy license I'm hanging up on my wall. I'm going to take my BA degree and put it over here because that's just nonsense. And put this, therapy license, which really at the end of the day, there's such a mass difference between coaching and therapy. And again, I didn't know that. So I was such in denial of my skill set. And once I realized, and then again, working on myself is what helped me realize that this is not imposter syndrome. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I could see the results. Once the results started coming in and people were saying to me, wow, what you said really resonated with me, or what you were doing really helped me with XYZ. And it just started trickling like this. And then, because remember, I had an audience. I had these students from 17. You had to graduate high school to come to a beauty school. So they were right out of high school to me, all the way up to in their 50s, 60s. My oldest student was a 74-year-old woman.
Wow.
So I had multi-generational going on all the time. So I learned after that, when I saw the response and when my students will graduate and tell me things like, I wish I could stay with you. Can I work for you? Can I stay here? How can I be in touch with you? I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, like, I got this. Like, I'm good. I can do this now. So that's really what it was. Self-doubt, 100%.
I recently had looking at doing something new in my life, and I was voicing like, who am I to do this? I need to get more training to do this. And the person looked at me and she's like, Julietta, you have been training your whole life to do this. And so, we forget, like, life is our educator too. And the other thing too that always resonates with me is like, how do you get what you want in life? By helping others get that. And
100%. My dad always tells me, girl, you've been through the school of hard knocks. He's an Italian guy from New York and worked for American Airlines, so the way he speaks is the apple don't fall far from the tree sometimes, right? So he's like really effing it up. He's like, you grew up in the school of hard knocks. So I use that. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's life experiences.
Yeah, there's sometimes I look at like what is offered in school these days, and I'm just like, there's far better educations to be had than what you're actually getting in a school. So
yes, 100%. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that itself with the school systems. Like, I'm sure Graciela, like, I don't know, like the kid, I have still a daughter in high school, and yeah.
Well, I will tell you, I'm very lucky in that my children are in a little micro school, and I get to really dictate a lot of their curriculum. And I will tell you that my daughter the other day came home, because as soon as she gets in the car, it's like putting a dime in the machine. She just for the 20-minute drive home. But she was telling me that they were learning about trauma responses. And so she learned fight. I mean, she's 14. She's learned because I have twins, the twins, obviously. Yeah. Fight, flight, fawn, freeze, she was learning all of these different phrases. And I was like, man, like, even if she never learns about an isosceles triangle, like, I just, her ability to communicate with other humans on their level and recognize her own responses in herself. I didn't learn that until way later. Like, right. I still do shit where I'm like, oh my God, I just did the thing. Like, I had a trauma response. Gosh, that was so stupid. I can't believe I did that. And she's catching that up at 14. Like, that's incredible. Amazing. So yeah, if on the education side, like, I know where your kid goes to school has 27 different factors, right? Where you live and what you can do and what you have access to. But don't forget also, like, the internet exists. And so you can teach yourself anything. I don't know if you ever read the 4-Hour Work Week. I think it's called the 4-Hour Work Week. But basically he's like, you can get yourself a master's degree, but just going online, you can get it for free if you just pick the topics and dive into them, because we're in an information age. Everything is out there, so
yes,
yeah,
100%.
Right.
And I could go on that topic with you forever. But
I was asking one of our listeners is asking if someone can dive in a little bit deeper, talking about the difference between therapy and coaching.
Sure. Hi, Kyle. Well, my definition and what I've been really, I say trained on because I do train with, Dr. Kennedy and all of this stuff, and a firm believer that the difference in between therapy and coaching is therapy is you go and talk. It's talking about your problems. And I know going to therapy myself really didn't help me much. Sometimes I actually felt worse when I left because I went in high anxiety. Then they had me going over that anxiety, situation or whatever the case is that made me this way. And then, okay, 45 minutes is up. See you next session. I was like, wait a minute, but I feel worse than I ever did when I came in here. And the difference between how I work is, as a coach, we're solution driven. I'm very, very solution driven. When you come even to like my workshop, I had a client say, well, am I going to go in there and tell them everything that was wrong with me? And I'm like, no. I go, we don't need to know any of that. I go, no one needs to know that, right? I'm going to give you the tools and the techniques on how to handle those emotions. So when a situation comes up again where you are what we call alarmed and your alarm is activated, that means there's a trigger. And how do you stay calm? I give you the solutions to that. I give you the techniques to that. I give you the tips. Anytime I do a session with somebody or anything talks to me on the phone, we never get off that call session without a solution. That is the difference. It's not like a cognitive behavioral therapy. We just constantly talking. Some people it's good for. Me, I don't heal that way. I didn't know that until I did obviously my own research and studying. So that is the difference for me.
I think a part of that is also, therapists are specialists in mental health issues, right? And I think that therapy and coaching, from my personal opinion, I think therapy and coaching go hand in hand. I think some things you need to talk to a psychiatrist, some things you need to talk to a psychologist, and sometimes you just need someone to kick your ass. And like that, you know what I mean? And sometimes those things all have to go together because you need that holistic, care, right? Depending on what's going on with you. But yeah, I don't think they're competitive at all. And I think they're very complementary to each other.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
It's how you what you need, right?
Right. 100%. And I always will start with the client. Like they always, of course, they want to tell me, I want to know, why are you calling me? Right. But we don't stay on that. It's not that we harp on that. Like when we go to therapy, we constantly will talk about maybe a certain situation over and over and over again. But yes, 100% agree. They do go hand in hand. But for me as a coach, I don't need you to constantly tell me the same thing over and over. I want to help you figure out how to help you with that. What can you say? And that's what I do. Kyle, I always say, I'm the one to hold you accountable and I kick your ass at the same time. I don't no holds bar with me. You're not going to get away with, woe is me. Like, we'll go there for a second. I'll let you for a second, but we're not going to ever stay in that. And I tell that to my kids too. You're allowed to feel those emotions. You got to. You have to.
Got to feel your feels.
Yes. You got to feel those feels. But you don't want to stay in there in that dark, deep place. We got to come out. And how do we do that? We have somebody like a coach that helps you with that.
There you go.
A great one. Thanks, Kyle, for asking that question.
Yeah, Kyle's great. He's an amazing human. And as he's here commenting, I'm thinking Kyle needs to come and be a guest on this show too someday. So we're kind of running out of time, and but we have not asked Graciela's question. Like, we got to know really quick, Jackie, what book do you recommend that all goddesses and everybody should read?
So the book that I definitely recommend is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, because really everything that I do for myself and that I work with my members on is about staying present. The importance of staying present, and I'll give you a little tip, and this is what I say, is it's about you create what's called the gap Find your gap. You visualize what that gap could be. That gap is what comes between your past anxiety and your future worry. Right down the middle here, this is your gap. What does it look like? Yesterday in my session on the beach, I had people tell me mine looks like, I had two of them say it looked like a horizon. And that was expanding and pushing out the future and the past. Mine is a straight path that really protects me from that feeling of that worry, anxiety. I go right into my gap, but I also use certain tools to get me in that gap. But that gap is where you stay present, because that brings the creativity out. That brings that peace and that harmony for your body to get into that rest and digest instead of being in that fight and flight. So definitely the power of now. Easy read.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I was just going, I think cacao helps keep you in the gap.
Ooh. Yeah.
We'll have to explore that further with Jackie for sure. For
Yes,
sure.
I need to come to the next cacao ceremony, ladies. I
We
want to
love
be
that.
involved. I want to.
We love having you, Jackie. I love chatting with you. Like you said, we could talk all day long. I know. I kind of we'll have to make an appointment at a time that we have a cutoff. So we have to be like, no, that's it. We have to stop.
I love it. Oh, I really appreciate you guys too. Thank you so much. And thank you really for all you guys do. Really, you guys are doing amazing things. And I'm fortunate to be, friends with you guys and be on the podcast with you. So I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button, and please like, comment, share this with all your friends so that we can keep bringing you all these amazing guests and lots of fun conversations and plenty of information. So have a magical day, everyone.
Bye.